Ladies and gentlemen, respected teachers, scholars, researchers, and dear friends, today we gather to explore one of the most transformative forces in human civilization, technology. But we will not merely discuss technology as machines, gadgets, artificial intelligence, or rockets. Instead, we will analyze technology through the spectacles of sociology, through the lens of society, human behavior, institutions, class structures, economic systems, culture, and development. To guide this exploration, we take inspiration from the works and ideas of Dr. Rainer Zitelmann, a German historian, sociologist, economist, and author who has written extensively on capitalism, wealth creation, innovation, entrepreneurship, and poverty reduction. His books such as How Nations Escape Poverty, In Defense of Capitalism, and The Power of Capitalism present a strong argument that technological progress flourishes most effectively in societies where freedom, competition, property rights, and entrepreneurship are protected. This discussion is not only about economics or engineering, it is fundamentally about society itself. Sociology teaches us that technology does not emerge in isolation. Every technological invention is born from social conditions, political systems, cultural values, economic incentives, and human aspirations. So today, we ask several important sociological questions. Why do some societies innovate faster than others? Why do certain nations become technologically advanced while others remain dependent? Is technology truly neutral? Does capitalism accelerate innovation? Can excessive state control slow down technological growth? How does technology reshape human relationships, culture, education, employment, and inequality? To answer these questions, let us begin from the roots. 1. Understanding technology from a sociological perspective. Technology is often misunderstood as merely tools or machines. Sociologists define technology more broadly. Technology is the application of knowledge to solve human problems and improve human conditions. From the invention of fire to the invention of the internet, technology has always shaped society, and society has shaped technology in return. The Industrial Revolution transformed agriculture into industrial production. The Digital Revolution transformed information into the world's most powerful resource. Today, artificial intelligence is beginning to transform decision-making itself. But sociology reminds us of something very important. Technology is not only technical, it is social. A smartphone is not merely a device. It changes communication patterns, family interactions, political campaigns, education systems, and even human psychology. Social media is not merely software. It reshapes identity, social status, relationships, and public opinion. Cars change not only transportation, but urban planning, employment structures, migration, and environmental politics. Thus, technology becomes a mirror reflecting the values and systems of society. The sociological relationship between technology and development. Development is another concept that sociologists study deeply. Development is not simply economic growth. True development includes education, healthcare, social, mobility, infrastructure, scientific advancement, human freedom, institutional efficiency, reduction of poverty, and improvement in quality of life. Technology acts as a catalyst for development because it increases productivity, efficiency, communication, and access to knowledge. However, sociology warns us that technology alone does not guarantee development. Many countries possess natural resources but remain poor. Others possess limited resources yet become technologically advanced and prosperous. Why? Because development depends on institutions, social organization, incentives, laws, culture, and economic freedom. This is where the ideas of Dr. Rainer Zitelmann become highly significant. Capitalism as the engine of technological progress. One of Zitelmann's strongest arguments is that capitalism is the greatest engine of technological advancement in human history. According to him, societies progress technologically when individuals are free to innovate, compete, invest, and profit from their ideas. From a sociological perspective, capitalism creates a system of incentives. Why would people spend years inventing new technologies? Because innovation offers rewards, wealth, social recognition, influence, and competitive advantage. This incentive structure pushes entrepreneurs to constantly improve products and services. For example, smartphones became smarter because companies competed. Internet speed improved because firms competed. Medical technologies advanced because innovators sought solutions and profits. Transportation evolved because markets demanded faster and cheaper mobility. In sociology, this process is called social dynamism, a condition where competition encourages continuous change and adaptation. Zitelmann argues that capitalist societies create decentralized intelligence. intelligence. No single government official knows exactly what consumers want, but millions of consumers and entrepreneurs interacting in markets collectively produce better outcomes than centralized planning. This idea closely resembles the sociological understanding of spontaneous social order. Instead of one authority controlling innovation, society evolves through countless individual decisions. Technology and the decline of poverty. One of the most important themes in Zitelmann's work is poverty reduction. Historically, extreme poverty was the normal condition of humanity. For thousands of years, most people lived short lives, suffered from disease, lacked education, and faced hunger. Then came industrial capitalism and technological innovation. Agricultural machinery increased food production. Factories increased productivity. Electricity transformed living conditions. Transportation connected markets. Medicine reduced mortality. Computers revolutionized communication. As productivity increased, living standards improved dramatically. From a sociological perspective, technology changed class mobility. A poor farmer's child could become an engineer, a programmer, a scientist, or an entrepreneur. Technology opened pathways previously impossible. Zitelmann frequently highlights that countries escaping poverty, such as South Korea, Singapore, Taiwan, and China after market reforms, did so not through isolation, but through economic liberalization, industrialization, and technological adoption. Sociologically, this means that development occurs when societies allow mobility, innovation, entrepreneurship, and access to markets. Legal innovation, the hidden foundation of technology. An extremely fascinating idea presented by Zitelmann is that legal and economic innovation often matters more than technological invention itself. This is a profound sociological observation. Many technologies exist for years before they become widely useful. Why? Because social systems and laws determine whether innovation can flourish. For example, mobile phones became revolutionary only after governments allowed market-based allocation of electromagnetic spectrum rights. In other words, technology needed institutional freedom. This teaches us that laws, regulations, property rights, contracts, and economic systems are social structures that shape technological progress. Sociology calls this institutional analysis. A society with weak institutions discourages innovation because people fear corruption, confiscation, political instability, or bureaucratic barriers. On the other hand, societies protecting property rights encourage investment and experimentation. Thus, development depends not only on inventors, but also on institutions. Space exploration and new space capitalism. One of Zitelmann's most interesting modern discussions involves space technology. Historically, space exploration was dominated by governments: NASA, Soviet programs, national agencies. These institutions achieved remarkable successes, but often suffered from bureaucracy, slow innovation, and enormous costs. Today, private companies like SpaceX have dramatically changed the landscape. Zitelmann argues that privatization and competition reduced launch costs and accelerated innovation. From a sociological perspective, this shift is revolutionary. It reflects the transition from bureaucratic monopolies to entrepreneurial ecosystem. Private firms operate differently from state institutions because they face market pressure, competition, consumer expectations, and financial accountability. This creates a culture of experimentation and efficiency. The concept of new space capitalism suggests that future technological development may increasingly come from private initiative rather than centralized governments. Zitelmann even argues that property rights in space could become essential for future investment. Sociologically, this raises fascinating questions. Can capitalism expand beyond Earth? Will space create new forms of inequality? Who owns extraterrestrial resources? Will humanity cooperate or compete in colonizing space? These questions show how technology always produces new social structures. Technology, freedom, and human creativity. Another major sociological theme in Zitelmann's philosophy is freedom. Creativity flourishes where freedom exists. Why do many technological breakthroughs emerge in societies with open debate, private ownership, freedom of expression, and entrepreneurial liberty? Because innovation requires risk-taking. People must be free to fail, experiment, criticize existing systems, and imagine alternatives. Authoritarian societies often struggle with innovation because excessive control suppresses creativity. Sociologists call this the relationship between structure and agency. If social structures become too rigid, individual creativity declines. Technology therefore depends not only on intelligence, but on cultural openness. A society afraid of change cannot innovate rapidly. Criticism of overregulation. Zitelmann strongly criticizes excessive government intervention in technological sectors, especially in energy and automobile industries. He argues that forced top-down transitions can damage innovation. For example, governments may impose strict regulations favoring one technology while discouraging alternative innovations. From a sociological perspective, overregulation can create institutional rigidity, reduced experimentation, and economic inefficiency. Zitelmann often uses German Germany's energy policies as an example, arguing that political planning sometimes resembles a planned economy. Sociologists understand that every institution has unintended consequences. A policy designed to help society may also reduce competition, increase prices, create dependency, or discourage entrepreneurship. This does not mean governments are unnecessary. Rather, the debate concerns balance. How much regulation is beneficial? How much becomes harmful? Sociology encourages us to examine both sides carefully. Technology and social inequality. Despite his support for capitalism, sociology also requires us to critically examine inequality. Technology creates opportunities, but it can also widen social gaps. For example, wealthy societies access advanced education faster. Corporations accumulate data and influence. Automation may replace jobs. Digital divides separate connected and disconnected populations. This creates what sociologists call technological stratification. People with access to technology gain advantages in education, employment, communication, and wealth creation. Meanwhile, marginalized groups risk exclusion. Thus, development becomes uneven. Urban areas modernize rapidly while rural areas lag behind. Artificial intelligence may empower highly skilled workers while replacing repetitive labor. Therefore, sociology asks, who benefits from technology? Who gets left behind? A balanced technological society must address inclusion. Education in technological society technology has transformed education more dramatically than perhaps any institution. Today, students attend online classes, artificial intelligence assists learning, digital libraries provide global access, educational barriers are reduced. From a sociological viewpoint, knowledge has become democratized. A student in a remote village can access lectures from world-class universities. This weakens traditional monopolies over knowledge. However, technology also changes learning behavior. Attention spans decline. Social media distractions increase. Critical thinking sometimes weakens due to information overload. Thus, sociology reminds us, technology is a tool. Its social effects depend on how society uses it. Education systems must therefore teach digital literacy, critical thinking, ethical reasoning, and adaptability. Future societies will require lifelong learning because technology changes rapidly. Artificial intelligence and the future of society. Artificial intelligence is perhaps the most transformative technology of the 21st century. AI affects healthcare, finance, warfare, media, transportation, governance, and human interaction. Sociologically, AI raises profound questions. Will machines replace workers? Will wealth concentrate further? Will algorithms control public opinion? Will AI strengthen democracy or surveillance? Zitelmann would likely argue that market competition accelerates AI innovation more effectively than centralized bureaucracy. However, sociology also warns about ethical concerns. Technology without ethical frameworks can produce manipulation, inequality, misinformation, and social fragmentation. Thus, technological development must be accompanied by moral and institutional development. Humanity must ask, can society control the technologies it creates? Globalization and technological interdependence technology has made the world deeply interconnected. Through the internet, cultures interact instantly. Businesses operate globally. Information travels in seconds. Globalization spreads innovation rapidly. A software created in one country can influence billions worldwide. From a sociological perspective, globalization creates both integration and tension. On one hand, knowledge spreads, trade expands, cooperation increases. On the other hand, local cultures feel threatened. Inequality becomes globalized. Dependency on powerful technological nations increases. Developing countries often depend on technologies produced elsewhere. This raises an important sociological challenge. Can technological dependency limit national sovereignty? Nations therefore seek not only economic growth, but technological independence. Consumer culture and modern technology also shapes identity and consumer behavior. People increasingly define themselves through smartphones, social media presence, brands, digital lifestyles. Sociologists call this consumer culture. Technology companies no longer sell only products. They sell lifestyles, aspirations, and social status. Algorithms influence what people watch, what they buy, whom they follow, and even what they believe. This creates new forms of social influence and psychological dependency. Zitelmann emphasizes entrepreneurship and innovation positively, but sociology must also examine the cultural consequences of hyperconsumerism. Does technology increase happiness? Or does it create endless comparison and dissatisfaction? This remains one of the greatest sociological debates of our time. The sociology of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs occupy a central role in Zitelmann's worldview. Sociologically, entrepreneurs are social change agents. They challenge traditions, disrupt industries, create employment, and reshape culture. Figures like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and Jeff Bezos did not merely build companies. They transformed social behavior globally. Entrepreneurship, therefore, becomes both economic and sociological. It changes communication, transportation, shopping, work culture, and even human expectations. Zitelmann argues that societies respecting entrepreneurs progress faster technologically. However, sociology also warns against hero worship. no entrepreneur succeeds alone. Innovation depends on workers, consumers, infrastructure, education systems, and social stability. Thus, development is collective, even when driven by individual innovators. Technology and human relationships. One of the most visible sociological impacts of technology is on relationships. Families now communicate through screens. Friendships exist digitally. Romantic relationships begin online. Communities form virtually. Technology increases connectivity, but sometimes reduces emotional depth. People may have thousands of online followers, yet experience loneliness. Sociologists study how digital communication changes identity formation, emotional expression, and social interaction. Technology creates convenience, but can weaken face-to-face social bonds. Thus, development should not be measured only materially. Human well-being also matters. Can technology solve all problems? Modern society often treats technology as a universal solution, but sociology warns against technological determinism, the belief that technology alone automatically creates progress. A society with advanced technology can still experience social alienation, mental health issues, political polarization, and cultural conflict. Therefore, development requires more than innovation. It requires ethical institutions, social trust, responsible leadership, and cultural maturity. Lessons for developing nations. What lessons can developing countries learn from this sociological perspective? First, innovation requires freedom. Societies must encourage creativity and entrepreneurship. Second, institutions matter. Without strong legal systems and property rights, technological investment declines. Third, education is essential. Human capital drives innovation. Fourth, technology should be inclusive. Development must benefit broad populations, not only elites. Fifth, governments should create enabling environments rather than excessive control. Finally, societies must balance economic growth with social well-being. Technological progress without social harmony can create instability. As we conclude, we realize that technology is far more than machines and inventions. Technology is a social force. It transforms economies, politics, education, culture, family, identity, and civilization itself. Through the ideas of Dr. Rainer Zitelmann, we see a powerful argument that capitalism, entrepreneurship, competition, and freedom have historically accelerated innovation and helped millions escape poverty. He believes that decentralized market systems outperform centralized bureaucracies in fostering technological progress. His Defense of Capitalism emphasizes incentives private property, entrepreneurial courage, and human creativity. Yet sociology reminds us that technological development must also be examined critically. Technology can liberate, but it can also divide. It can empower, but it can also exclude. It can connect humanity, but it can also isolate individuals. The future of society will therefore depend not only on what technologies we create, but also on how we govern them, who benefits from them, and what values guide them. Ultimately, technology reflects humanity itself. If societies value freedom, creativity, and opportunity, technology may become a force for extraordinary progress. But if societies neglect ethics, equality, and human dignity, technology may deepen existing problems. Therefore, the greatest challenge of the modern age is not simply technological advancement. It is ensuring that technological advancement serves human development. Because in the end, machines do not define civilization, people do.